All right, hi everybody. Just per my buddy Greg's request, I am putting together a video on how to build a sauna hut. I've got some of the work already pre-done. It's mostly framing work. Well, realistically, foundation work that's kind of already done. But I'm going to talk you through that, and then I'm going to talk through all the next steps. There will be a few video clips, I think, and we're going to try to go from A to Z for building out a sauna hut. I consider this a medium-sized job, and I would consider it a medium to hard difficulty level. The hardest part, I think, is probably going to be putting up the door. Doors are awful to hang. As far as just putting the hut together, I'd say it's medium, because basically if you're paying attention to how you're measuring and being smart about your where you're putting your boards up, it shouldn't be very difficult. Now, I do already have a frame built out. I'm gonna show that here in just a sec, and you can see kind of where I'm working from at the beginning. All right, so a couple weekends ago, we built this lovely playhouse for the kids. It's built against the back of the house. They use the stairs that are for the back of the house to access the inside of it, as well as the slide. You can see there at the bottom there's an empty space, and that's going to become the sauna hut. We had to fill in a little bit of concrete right there for the hut. You can see that it's not level with the concrete that used to be that sidewalk area. It's not a big deal, because I'm going to be building a floor above that. So basically, I just need something that I can put my weather-resistant boards down on and build from up above. I've got these four 4x4s here. That's what's going to provide the base of the foundation. I've got to do a little bit of framing out, which I'll talk about here in just a sec. But yeah, those four beams there are gonna provide the majority of what I need. And obviously, if you're gonna be putting beams like that in yourself, recommend at least 2, preferably 3 feet down. So you've got a really firm foundation to work from. Be putting in concrete in there as well. If you're just putting the beams in and you've got like a grassy area, that's totally fine. You can build a few inches off the ground and not worry about putting concrete under the whole area there. But definitely, put in like fill up those holes with concrete that you bury these 4x4s in. Probably you'll be using like 3 bags of 60-pound Quikrete would be my guess if you dug your hole maybe 8 inches, 10 inches across, something like that. Awesome. So I'm going to be building my frame out with 2x4s, pretty basic framing stuff. And to do that, I'm going to be just using a saw. Tape measure is right there. Some drywall screws. They're cheap, they're easy, and an impact driver. I think of all the things that you could be considering if you're looking to buy a tool, it'd be one of those guys. Not a regular drill, but get an impact driver. It's going to make a huge difference. I'll be doing most of my cutting over there. Got the little girl. Sayla, can you say hi? Yeah, there we go. Here to keep me company, and we'll get rolling here in a second. Okay, you'll see that I've got some 2x4s up to provide a very basic frame for this front wall. I'm going to talk dimensions here. Well, before I do, actually, you'll see down here I've posted 2 little blocks of wood. That's treated lumber down there. Same as the 4x4s, and I put those down because I want to provide a surface that's as water resistant as possible. If I really wanted to, I'd put bricks under there, but I don't have any bricks readily available. I think this area is going to stay pretty dry, so I'm not too worried about it. for the area back there, along the back, and then on this side, that would probably be better to do the bricks with. Obviously, I've leveled these guys so that if I run a board straight across all 4 of these beams, I'm gonna make good contact with them. Okay, so fun stuff here. So from this beam over to this beam is about like 4 feet 5 inches or so. I'm going to be running my interior cedar from the inside of these beams, rather than and my pine from the outside. So I put these beams right here very strategically. They're 3 feet when you add in a 2x4 on this side, 3 feet away from the post. Now I did that because cedar is expensive. So this is my lovely cedar. They're 12-foot tall boards, 1x4s. For those of you that don't buy a lot of lumber, I've found that buying longer, narrower pieces of lumber, so the 4-inch, which is 3.5-inch nominal, 4-inch, 1x4-inch lumber is going to cost you an awful lot less than a 1x6, 1x8. And a longer board, you'll usually get a lower cost per foot if you buy a longer board than if you buy a shorter board. So the 12s, I think I'd probably saved like maybe 5 cents a foot on the 12s over the 8s. But the thing about the 12s that I need to comment here is I can divide them into 4 even pieces. And so 3 feet a piece, and I'll be able to run them alternating, one board going from this beam here over to this beam here, and then from this beam here over to that beam there, and then obviously have a smaller segment there along the top. And so this way I'm able to use the entire board as I'm going. I'm sure a lot of you are thinking it. This is not going to be a very large sauna hut, and that's kind of the point of the video, is how do you make good use of the space, the materials that you have, and turn something that's not really meant to be a thing into another thing that you want it to become. So next up is going to be installing my insulation. Sauna huts apparently need to be well insulated. Makes sense. And so I'll be finishing off a couple of things here with the rest of the frame out, and then I'll switch over to that. All right, so we are now several weeks later, and I have just not been working very hard. But I've got a frame built out, and I have a bench built out. I'm going to talk some about the bench in just a sec, but you can see I am adding as much insulation as is reasonably possible, because that's going to be an important part of the process. Unfortunately, because everything's kind of off level and off square, I'm basically just kind of having to guess like what's going to end up being the cleanest finish for this bench. You can see here all of these little rust spots. Can't quite get my finger right. That unfortunately happened because I used indoor finish nails rather than outdoor finish nails. So bought some outdoor finish nails and it'll look nicer. Except the bench is done now, so I'm gonna have to live with that. You can see it got really bad there. So next step is gonna be just to continue finishing out the floor and the walls and the whatnots. So here we go. All right, so it is now several weeks after we've begun everything, and we are done with the exception of the trim, which isn't particularly exciting stuff, so I'm not going to show you, and I'm just kind of lazy, frankly. You guys can see that I used scrap pieces to put together the ceiling, so some small spaces there, not too worried about it, especially once you're inside and everything's going. It looks fine. The door was a bit of a task. It actually worked out pretty well. Got it very snug on this side, but I'm going to close it here. And you can see as I'm closing it, maybe, that there is a large space there. So I'll try to get it closed all the way. And yep, you can clearly see there's a large space there. That's going to need to be insulated by the time that winter rolls around. For the heat source, this is an interesting little number. Picked this up on eBay. I think it cost me 65 bucks, which compared to the other IR sources I was seeing was pretty reasonable for how much, I'll say, like square inch of bulb I got. So don't know how it's going to perform in winter, obviously, but when it arrived, it was fairly intimidating for a non-electrical guy to put together. But once I got around my head that basically I just needed to have the same side of each bulb. Each bulb has like numbering on one side and another like different numbering on the other, so I just matched those sides up and then ran the wires straight into one of these guys. Picked it up for $4, $3 at Home Depot, and then can plug it right in here. Just a sec. Oh my goodness. And it gets crazy hot, like hot enough that I'm gonna have to think about a way to protect the cord. You can see it's already red within just a few seconds. Yep, here's Sayla running around and Spaghetti Monster. You can see that there's not a ton of room to do anything more than just like sit like this. I can have a small child in here as well. Oh no, small child will bump her head. My wife's suggestion was to also put a shelf in right along that line so that somebody who's sitting right there where my feet are would be able to put their feet over there, or like you could have some drinks there. So it's a full house. We got Sayla's friend here too. And yeah, that's pretty much the Sauna Hut. It is. What's up?
We have a door now.
I know. Yeah, it's a real door, isn't it? Close this in. Close this in. Close this hard. Push, push, push. Hard, hard, hard. Hard as you can, girl. All right, and you can see that it is. Well, you got to have some muscles to close the door, but you can see that it works pretty well for the light in here. So, that's that. That's that. Yeah, it is too. Is it too hot? That's the idea, girl. All right.
Let me see what happens. Sissy's gonna see what happened.